Fans, welcome back for episode 204 of the Working Fans podcast. We've got the man called Dave, AJ Strangebrew, and before we get into Money in the Bank talk, because spoiler alert, I still have not watched it, but I kind of wanted to talk a little bit because we talked so much about this Griswold Great Get Together going in. Dave, AJ, tell me a little bit about your experiences last week and how you enjoyed the afternoon.
Well, I'll tell you what, AJ, I'm going to share some of this episode right now. So why don't you tell people, because you had a very interesting experience, more than all three of us. So go right ahead.
I thought it was great. I mean, it was a get together. It was great. The wrestling action was fantastic. A lot of good wrestling that day, a lot of fun. But we had some interesting stuff too. I mean, I did the announcing in between matches for events for the town of Griswold. We'll be putting up video footage of that at some point. We definitely videotaped it. But I also ran into an old timer who used to be around when I wrestled in Yankee Pro Wrestling many years ago, and he has lost footage apparently of me wrestling, which hopefully get our hands on and put up on our YouTube channel, because my God, how horrible that would be to watch me in spandex.
Hey, if anybody's seen your stand-up act, they have already seen you in spandex. And that's one thing. I want to know if you guys had this same takeaway from the event, but how hard was it to keep up with people's names as the day went on?
Yeah, I mean, with the exception of like Trayvon Jordan, people we talked to in the past or were very familiar with, very difficult. Too much going on for my ADD brain for sure. And I'll let AJ, because he wants to talk. But basically,
I wanted to give a quick thank you to Cameron, who's the ring announcer for Northeast Wrestling. He was very professional with us. We're going to work out deals in the future to do more with Northeast Wrestling, and Cameron could not have been better to work with. And he's a great ring announcer. So,
did you seriously remember his name?
I did.
Holy shit. I was looking that up. I had to ask a couple people yesterday. Shout out to John Roy, the technical guy from NEW that helped out with that. Eric Balco, our cameraman. I mean, Mike Lombardi and Northeast Wrestling. Great. Everybody on that crew, Landon Hale, Brad Baylor. I can't shout out enough people. Thank you, Brian.
Every
Solomon
wrestler that worked that day was also incredibly professional. They were hardworking. They were kind. They talked to us. They spent time with us. They didn't have to do that. We know it's not easy to come to the middle of nowhere, put up a wrestling ring, and work in front of a crowd. And they did a tremendous job with it.
And I will say, shout out to Ryan Aubin of the Griswold Youth Center, because without him, he was the one that mentioned, like, he talked to us about it. He puts on the carnival with, I think the carnival, they do it together. But so shout out to Ryan Aubin for help facilitating this for us too. And giving us
I got to be honest with you. I had an opinion going into it, but I think he's now the better of the Aubin brothers.
Hey, that's his opinion. I love Keith, so Keith was in my opinion. I don't think failed, but I mean, whatever.
Before you guys get into Money in the Bank talk, I had been pretty negative about SNSN radio going in. You know, I had felt a certain way about how things unfolded, but day of, they were very professional. You know, we worked together fine, and I just wanted to thank them for lighting a fire under our ass to bring you the production that is soon to come out. We filmed the Griswold Great Get Together. We will have all the matches coming out very soon. But one thing that occurred the same day as the get together was Money in the Bank. Yes. Guys, since I did not watch Money in the Bank, I'm going to go get a cold beverage. You tell the fans what happened.
Hey, one last shout out before we talk Money in the Bank. The cameraman who came in and worked for us that day, a lot of people don't realize this. Those cameramen don't get a break in between matches. They don't get a break. They literally work that whole card, and it was hot as the Dickens out that day. So I just want to give a major shout out to the gentleman who, he did a tremendous job, busted his ass for us. and we cannot be more appreciative of what he did for us. So thank you.
Yeah, also letting us know Mike Lombardi was in the building, owner of Northeast Wrestling. So we got to talk to him. You know, it was just a great event overall to be a part of. And I mean, it felt like a better wrestling show to work than that Pistol Pete show. And I think we only
A little
have
bit.
more ahead of us.
Yeah,
Just as hot, though.
Oh, it was a hot day. Yeah, I was glad we brought the water bottles. I ended up using some of those myself. So
shout out to
one or
Anthony,
two
who came out early and hung out with us, played music, was just the ball of energy at like noon. I don't know how he does it, but I'm gonna get down to Sorrell's and get that shepherd's pie.
Mm-hmm. All right, AJ, let's talk Money in the Bank. I got to watch this pretty much spoiler free.
Was there anything negative that you would take away from Money in the Bank?
I'm briefly looking over this card. No, I don't think I have a real complaint as far as Money in the Bank.
Yeah, and that's the reason I actually brought it up.
Yeah,
I don't have a negative takeaway from it either. To have an event where it is 99 to 100% positive, absolutely incredible. So great job for WWE on this one.
Let's just go over the results real quick. Our third guy that we had, we gave this guy a chance, but he was the third on our list. Damian Priest is the actual winner of Money in the Bank. Even though we said he had a chance, I was still relatively surprised.
It was a little surprising to me.
Yeah.
I'm interested to see how it fits into future storylines. I mean, obviously, right now there's tension between him and Finn Balor. I mean, hell, that night, he pretty much cost Finn Balor.
Right.
I know he said he was taking a look to cash in on Seth Rollins, but Seth Rollins was hurt. If he was looking to cash in on Seth Rollins, wouldn't he have just cashed in on Seth Rollins?
Yeah, it will be interesting to see what they happen. They have said in the past now that you can cash on any championship in WWE.
Which is just stupid. Why would you want to win? Hey, I won the Money in the Bank. Let me go get the freaking Intercontinental Championship.
Right. Yeah, I won't get the NXT World. Exactly. No, I get it.
Stupidest thing ever. That's
And they haven't brought that much attention back to it, so we'll see. But all right, this one I'm gonna say came out of nowhere. Even though I could have saw it coming down the line, there was no reason to think it was going to happen right here. Shayna Baszler turns on Ronda Rousey and cost them the champion. It was just in the middle of the match. They don't bump into each other, really. There's nothing really like. And then Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez walk out with the tag titles.
Well, the only reason I can see it happening now is Ronda Rousey's leaving.
Yeah, I figured that. And I knew that might eventually happen. But I was just surprised. Like there was
but there was nothing leading up to it that even remotely, no feigned jealousy, even in the match.
Right.
In the match itself, there was no real big miscommunication or.
And me and AJ said this might sound like being a little negative because it came out of nowhere. But I would say since this was the one match I really didn't have too much interest in going in, it ended up catching my eye because I'm like, oh wow, Liv and Raquel are going to win. Because I thought no way they're winning the tag titles here. So
dude, it was so out of nowhere. It was like getting hit by an RKO.
Speaking of RKO, bro, Matt Riddle, Gunther, great little short match. I can't complain about this either because Gunther, first off, he's chopping the ankle, which I just think is tremendous.
Yeah.
And then he ends up putting Riddle in an ankle lock, taps him out. Great short match. Love Gunther. And at the end, we get Drew McIntyre returning. Didn't know this was coming either.
You got balls to chop an ankle. That is all bone. That is not hurting anybody but your hand.
Take that spot.
Yeah, that is not I would have been pissed. But Drew McIntyre, I don't think any of us saw it coming. It's not overly shocking just due to the fact that it's in Great Britain and obviously him being from Scotland, great crowd reaction. But I like those two anytime they fight, Gunther and Drew McIntyre.
And it's a great opponent for Gunther. I think Drew's somebody people can think, oh, he might lose the belt to Drew. I don't think
Drew is in that argument for most underutilized talent. What he did during the pandemic, what he did to help keep the WWE afloat, and the way he's been utilized since then, he may be, like I said, the most underutilized talent in the WWE right now.
Absolutely.
Although he does have the stupidest countdown to the Claymore kick. Let's be clear about that. I fucking hate that.
I heard a rumor, by the way. I want to trace this next match. I heard a rumor this one was going to possibly main event, and they were going to have a big angle. It did not. Cody Rhodes versus Dominic Mysterio. It was in the middle, so I thought, okay, this will be, and this was a fine match too. Nothing crazy.
I heard a rumor that there was going to be a big angle with Cody Rhodes and Dominic.
The rumor was Brock was going to come back in this match. Right, yeah. Yeah. So Cody gets the win. They use Dom as really more for like a detour, which I was fine with because keep the momentum going for Cody. I didn't want to see Dom sneak a win here. I like Dom, but I think we need to keep Cody strong. And
I prefer it the way they did it.
Yeah, and in the end, Brock shows up on Monday night, tries to jump Cody. Cody's ready, and we got a face-off, and Cody's looking really strong as we set up for a third matchup with Brock at SummerSlam. Rather than talk about Cody Dom, I'll ask you this. What do you think the stipulation will be for Cody and Brock? There is rumors there'll be a stipulation.
Well, I will answer that, but how many people have left a match or a program with Brock Lesnar looking stronger? They've done a good job with this, and Cody Rhodes, to me, has proven himself and has come across as stronger during this matchup. And now, stipulation, wow. Because Brock is technically a free agent, right? He can go anywhere he wants to.
Yeah.
Maybe Brock has to leave Raw.
Maybe. Or
loser leaves Raw. I don't know.
Speaking of looking stronger, you want to look stronger? Try some Dubby. All right. Use the code fans working 10% off.
If you have not used Dubby yet, if it hasn't gone through your veins, if it hasn't brought you to the next level, searching and just seeking and destroying things, then you haven't done anything. I use the Calio cream, which is a great tasting flavor, creamsicle flavor, and it gets me pumped up before the gym. It gets me fired up before the bedroom. It's really, there's nothing that beats it.
You're damn right. And speaking of seek and destroy, all right, talking about Metallica song, talking about a rocker. How about Io Sky? She looks like a punk rocker, huh? I love that girl. She won.
I love Io Sky, but before we do that, I would like to ask a question because Randy asked us a trick question.
Randy.
Yeah. My question for Randy was, where the hell were you at the Griswold Get Together?
Did you get some?
We were all there.
And we'll answer his question before we get to Io Sky. Do I think Cody will beat Brock this time? Or AJ? I think we're in agreement. Yes, he does.
Yeah, he has to.
Yeah, no doubt. And Io Sky, we both predicted her. And I'll ask you again. I think we might have covered this, but real quick, who do we think she cashes in on? I say it's got to be Asuka right now.
I mean, I know you're racist, so you think that the Asian women have to fight each other, but I think that it is going to be Asuka also. But my reason is because I think that they're going to go in a different direction with Rhea Ripley. I think right now, for whatever reason, they're trying to build up Natalya, and they're trying to make this like one last big hurrah for her. Maybe that's what they're going for. So I think Io will cash in on Asuka, and I think it'll be a hell of a match because Io Shirai and Asuka are both incredible.
Here's another question before we get into the final two matches. Do you think Io and Damian will win the championships? Tough.
So I think Io will.
Right.
The problem with Damian is, and this is where it's hard to predict.
I don't see him beating Roman.
What's he going for?
Right. Yeah. No.
I honestly believe with all my heart that Io is going to go after Asuka. I think she's going to win it, and then there's going to be troubles between her and Bayley.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Whereas with Damian Priest, I have no idea who he's going to go after.
Yeah.
Or if he's even going to go after the World Championship, since they keep saying that.
He could. I could see him beating Seth if they set up something, but man, Seth's so strong too. But he's not beating Roman right now.
No, he's not going over Roman.
Not happening.
He's not even. Yeah. First of all, he's not even going to be the next opponent for Roman.
So Seth, let's talk about Seth.
Now wait a minute. Something could change here.
Yeah.
He's got all the way till WrestleMania. If they hold off and they keep building him up, we
Yes.
don't know who the champions will be before next WrestleMania.
That's true. That's true. Imagine Cody Rhodes, hard times. He ends up being WWE champion after WrestleMania 40. Gets it cashed in next night. He only enjoys it for a day.
That's what I'm saying. You don't know what's going to happen in that one, so it's a little bit harder.
So Seth Rollins beats Finn Balor. Great matchup here. I'll pose this question for you. We're getting ready to go into SummerSlam. Who's going to be Seth Rollins' opponent right now?
Oh,
yeah.
I don't think there is a clear opponent right now.
I don't think there is either. Yeah, I'm trying to.
I mean, it's going to be Cody versus Brock, so there's 2 people eliminated.
Roman and Jay. We'll talk about that momentarily.
It looks like it's going to be Drew versus Gunther.
Mm-hmm.
So who's left on Raw that's a good opponent?
I got an idea. Let's throw an idea out here. What about a 3-way against the tag team champions, Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens?
I mean, that's definitely something that could happen, but what would lead to that?
We need something to lead to it, yes. I don't know. Yeah. So,
how about Austin Theory could always get a shot?
Austin Theory is a good one. He's on SmackDown right now. And they are
trying that's right. I forgot he's over on SmackDown now.
Yeah. So, and Gunther's going to fight Drew probably.
I mean, to be honest with you, I would love to see Gunther get a shot at Seth. I know that's not in the books, but
yeah, I love that too. Yeah.
But right now, that's probably the most unclear thing. Now, Damian Priest could come out with that briefcase and go, "Hey, I'm going to challenge you to SummerSlam," but that's a babyface thing to do, so I don't see that happening.
It's possible, and he is feuding with him and Finn are struggling with each other, so it could be possible to turn Damian babyface.
Yeah.
All right. Final.
Braun Breaker.
Well, Breaker's on NXT still. I don't think
I know he's on NXT right now, but you got 2 months until SummerSlam.
We'll see. All right, let's get into the main event here. This is the part everybody's been talking about. The Usos beat Roman and Sikoa. Now, what was very interesting about this match to me, and this is credit to what a great job they've done with Roman. First off, for the last several years, it was nothing for an opponent to pin the world champion in a tag match. It was pretty expected. And although me and AJ did both predict this, it's still a huge deal here because it hasn't been done to Roman in 4 years. This guy almost 4 years he hasn't been pinned since 2019.
You remember who the last person who pinned him was?
Baron Corbin. Yeah. And it's wild because like they've had tag matches and stuff. Speaking of tag teams, they've had tag matches and stuff, and Roman still hasn't been pinned. You know, they've had opportunities to do this to Roman. So there's that level of doubt. And what's even more crazy, and this is where I popped for the match, by the way, because I thought it was kind of dragging a little bit at times. But towards the end, the last 5 minutes, holy shit. So when they hit that spear spike combination on Jimmy and Jay, and then they dragged them over on top of each other. If you had done that several years ago.
Freebird rules.
If you had done that several years ago, I would have said, no way. They're not going to embarrass somebody, stack them on top of each other and pin them. Oh, wait, they've done that before. He's did that to Daniel Bryan and Edge, 2 of the greatest of all time. So I was like, part of me was like, shit, are they going to do it? And then they did it. And then the crowd is going crazy. Now we're into this. And then they hit their moves. Jay gets the pin, and it was such a feel-good moment. And I have to say, I don't think Jay gets the championship, but, man, you could make a case with this story being so strong. It's the strongest story, I think, in a long time that you could argue he deserves it. But
well, the funny thing is with that win, Jay now moves up into a category where I'm not even sure he needs the world title.
Doesn't. And
now, that being said, I think they also did a great job in that match of making Solo. Because Solo did a lot of the work in that match. They showed what he could do. Mm-hmm. So it wasn't like they only made Jay and Jimmy there. They also did a great job of getting Solo over.
Yeah, because there was a point at one point in that match, too, after what I was talking about with that pin combination where they both had him stacked and they kicked out. Roman starts to doubt himself. He starts to lose it. And you see Solo's like, hey, let's get him. What are you doing? You know, like he's looking at Roman like, what are you doing? You're supposed to be leading, you know? And I was like, that's great storytelling.
I did enjoy Roman on the actual apron, though. Why are we even here? These people don't deserve this.
He's a great heel.
These people are stupid.
I think they waited so long to make him a heel. He's a great heel. All right. Final thing tonight.
Layla Hirsch.
No, we're not talking Layla Hirsch this week. AEW's. We'll make that quick. Anything on AEW you want to talk about? Actually, I'll just bring it up.
I thought AEW was good this week.
Fine.
Solid wrestling action. Nothing tremendously great.
About Punk and Joe Saturday. That's what's got me.
Yeah, that's really the interesting thing this week is we've got Joe versus Punk tomorrow night. What more can you ask for? It's been a long time coming. I'm very excited about it. I haven't been this excited since, I don't know, the Gobbledygooker. So it's fantastic.
And I heard this one theory tonight, and then I'm going to tag producer Joe in because it looks like he's ready to get in here too. I heard this one theory tonight. There's going to be a tribal chief trial of the tribal chief.
Yeah.
And somebody was saying maybe we'll get some old guards tonight. Maybe Rikishi, maybe Alpha, Sika, and maybe the
they were going to do something similar to this a while ago.
Right.
Where they were going to bring in all the guys. So maybe this will be the time that they do it.
And we're doubting, hey, maybe you're not fit to lead the tribal chief. So maybe SummerSlam is world title and title of the tribal chief.
Yeah, it definitely could be. I mean, anytime something like this happens, you're going to also hear people going, oh, this could be when The Rock comes back.
Sure. And with the tribal chief, our tribal chief, producer Joe's back.
Sorry, I had myself still muted. You know, I'm chomping at the bit to get in here because of all the things we've talked about this week, there's one thing we haven't talked about.
Read about the Northern Wrestling Federation in the book presented by Russellville.com, The Pro Wrestling Vault, Volume 2. Hear the story of Roger Ruffin, the man who trained Carl Anderson, the Monster Abyss, Jordan Clearwater, Chris Harris, and Jillian Hall.
Plus 45 other short stories, including Jazz, Bobby Eaton, Kamala, Thunder Rosa, Mario Mancini, Scott Casey, PJ Black, Kerry Morton, Sal Renaro, Jeremiah Plunkett, Colby Carino, Bam Bam Malone, and many others.
Get your book today at Russellville.com. Russellville. It's where wrestling lives.